The first thing I do after getting up from bed and praying to God is my teeth. I brush my teeth straight up. I really don't wait. Then I go straight to the kitchen, before somebody comes to my room and start shouting, "Food never done by this time for this house." But fortunately today I woke up a bit late because it seems everybody came down with something. For me it was cough, catarrh and body pain. It is well sharp. So we couldn't cook something big at first because I woke up late and the children were already hungry. So I just decided to make tea that morning first for them to take first before I move on to the next. So this is me making tea for my children. By children I mean my siblings. I couldn't even talk well that morning. You can hear my voice is still a bit cracked. That morning it was worse. It's just as if you could not even hear a thing that I was saying. But I was still talking. I couldn't care less. So when I was done making their tea, I moved straight to plantain. Yes, I started peeling plantain because that morning I wanted to make boiled plantain with efforiro. So I started putting my plantain on fire because as they drink tea, make food for them ready before I start hearing I'm hungry. So I moved to the next step. I started putting my plantain on fire. When I was done peeling my plantain, something just said, "You know what, we rinse your plantain again." And that's what I did. So this is me putting my plantain on fire after I have rinsed it. When I was done putting my plantain, I rinsed my bowl and I added cow. I think it's potash in English, right? Yes, I added it, and when I added it, I added salt too to make my plantain soft and sweet. By the time I was done in the kitchen, I quickly said, let me use the small strength I have to sweep the parlor. While sweeping, I was watching Dragon Ball Super. I don't know, I just love anime. I was sweeping and watching cartoon at the same time. I just used the little strength I had to, do the needful. Because if I don't, I will get what. When I was on sweeping, I went back to the kitchen. Sorry, I can't show you everything, guys. Fortunately for me, my plantain was ready, so I started prepping my things for the efforiro. This is me putting my meat on fire. Yes, I put my meat on fire. I on my gas. I added the ingredients I want to use to boil my meat, my sauce, my maggi, and the rest. When I was done, I went straight to blending my pepper. I started, picking the pepper to wash it, then to blend it. Yes, I started doing the needful. When I was done washing my pepper, I brought out my blender to blend my pepper and my tomato. The pepper was very much, I was even worried like, sure this thing is not going to be too hot, but it was more bauer than pepper actually, so I could not put my tomato immediately. And while I was doing that, I noticed that my meat water had dried, so I added more water and I washed my tomato. I told myself when I blend the pepper and it reduces, I'm going to add my tomatoes immediately. When I was done cutting my tomatoes, I put water into my pepper and I went straight to boil water for my effor because I need to pour hot water inside my effor first. So I decided to boil water first before I blend my pepper and tomato. And after my pepper had reduced, like I said, I poured my tomato inside. Yeah, that's what I did, and everything contained the blender. After blending my pepper, I went straight to removing the bones from my fish because I was also using fish too. I went straight to removing the bones from my fish. And when I was done with the bones from my fish, I went to my crayfish. You know those big crayfish that has big head? Yes, those brown big crayfish that remove their head and their tail. So that was the crayfish I was actually working with. So I actually removed the head and the tail. My mom panned the head and the tail afterwards and put the body inside the soup like that. So I was separating the head from the tail. I was putting the head and the tail together. Then the middle part I was putting it separate so that I'll pan it. But before I finished, my water had boiled, so I poured my hot water on my phone and I added salt to wash my phone. And before you know it, I was done washing my phone and I went back to my crayfish. Before I finished my crayfish, my annoying younger brother came in, and you do not want to know what we're arguing about. Like, these guys are just so annoying. You would tell them to do something simple. I mean, it's very simple, just do it. But no, they will argue. And this is me arguing with him. This is if I don't get work. And here it was time for me to start cooking. I was done arranging everything I needed. So I put my pot on fire. I waited for the water to dry, and I have already pounded my crayfish head and I added my red oil. I waited for it to get hot before I pour my pepper inside, because that's what my mommy like. I don't know why. So I poured my pepper inside after it got hot, and I covered my pot. And by here my pepper had already boiled, so I started adding on my ingredients that I would need: my fish, my crayfish, the pounded one, Maggi and salt, everything that I would need inside my stew. I added everything, my meat too. I added my meat. You will not believe if I told you that the meat almost burned, despite the fact that I was inside that kitchen. And when I was done adding everything that I needed, I left it to boil. By the time I came back to the kitchen, it was already boiling, and I tested it was okay. It was time for me to add my F4 inside, which I was doing. When I was adding the F4, as when my brain hit me and told me that, hey, this pot is too small. My mind was like, I can just press it now. Maybe by the time it's cooking, it will contain everything. You can see the F4 at the top. It was too small then. My mom walked into the kitchen. I was like, this pot is too small now. You should have used something bigger. And that was the main reason me and my younger brother was fighting. So she quickly went in the storeroom and brought out, I don't know where this pot come from. She brought out a bigger pot and we exchanged the pots. I had poured the F4 inside the other pot. You can see how small the pot was. So she stirred everything, she tested, she was like, okay, it's okay. And she left. She left by the time she was done. And not long after, the F4 was ready, because after you've added it, you just leave for a few minutes and it's ready. And I tested it, so it was okay, and boom, our F4 is ready. After I was done, I served the food for my mom, and this is efforiro and boiled or ripe plantain. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is my morning routine. Please don't forget to hit the like button, share and subscribe, and please drop a comment. Please guys, drop a comment. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.